My persuasive speech is on why small classes are better and more effective than bigger classes. So I split my speech into four, maybe five parts. The definition and explaining what that means, effectiveness, experience, references I have of teachers and people who think small classes are better, and then arguments against it. So the definition technically is small classes are where there are less students who get to have a class with a teacher, and the teacher is able to teach less people. Um, it also can mean smaller classroom size to avoid any like echoing, and everyone can hear the teacher more clearly and is closer up to them. Um, 25 states have already implemented like having small classes over large classes, or are starting to do that because they agree that small classes are better and way more effective than big classes like lecture classes are. The effectiveness of it, people are able to ask more questions during class if they are confused and they need help with something. There's more one on one time with the teacher. So if people, everyone in the class kind of figures out what they've needed to do, and sometimes there's like quiet time, or I don't know, not quiet time, but it's just a time where everyone's like doing homework or something like I had in high school. You have a lot more time to talk to your teacher and ask her or him questions that you might have. And there's also usually a lot less noise because with bigger classes, there makes sense for more people to be uh, talking during it, and you can hear more, and there's more just noise from other things. It might not even be people talking. So for experience, I am technically the visual aid because if I hadn't had small classes pretty much all my life, I probably wouldn't be here right now because I had a lot of time with my teachers to be able to get me to where I am today. Uh, so I went to a small school, so pretty much all my classes were really small, and it I feel like it really helped me. It was able to teach me, or my teachers were able to teach me way better than if I had just listened to them like in a lecture class all day and not actually had any questions with them. And I know you can email teachers and stuff like that, but I feel like having face to face contact and being able to ask questions while you're talking to them is way more important than just emailing them and have them maybe misunderstanding what you're saying, and it's just really hard to communicate through email or even just like calling them. Um, yeah, I prefer it, and I think that everyone should be able to have it because it is a lot better. Some of the references I have are, the first person is a teacher at Loyola Elementary School in California. Her name is Sherry Elmer. She said that she was able to try new things to help her students out after a new rule where classes couldn't be bigger than 20 students. So she was able to, she taught like younger kids, so she was able to try different things like hand puppets and stuff like that to keep them engaged and try to um, help them understand more in ways that she wouldn't be able to if there were more than 20 students in it. And when she taught older classes, she felt that she was able to help the students more. And then there's Don Hurst. He is the Director of Government Relations with ASCD, and that stands for Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. He said that small classes really enhance learning, and teachers get to know the students better and therefore know the way that they can learn, which which can uh, sorry, if the teacher knows the way they learn, she can or he sorry the teacher can um, change the way that they're teaching to help the students. And if that still doesn't help, then hopefully they can get one-on-one time together. Another person, Eric W. Robelin, he's an EWA director. Um, he said that there's a lot of benefits, and he mentioned a bunch, such as increased student achievement, fewer kids getting in trouble, more personal attention. There's higher teacher morale and more time for teachers to spend lesson planning with what they're going to do instead of class management, instead of keeping their students in line. And then the last person, Amy White, she is the Association of Texas Professional Educators president. Uh, I just put a quote down of her. She said, "Ask any teacher; they all prefer smaller classes," which I think is telling because not a lot of teachers, well, a lot of teachers have the most experience with it, so I think they would know what they would want and what would be better for them. And then some arguments that people would have would be there's not enough space for all the classrooms. It's really expensive to make more classrooms, and I don't know if there's not enough space, but I think it's doable. And then there's another argument, which is not enough teachers. That also makes sense, but if there's teachers that are willing to teach that, they can teach multiple classes. But it does make sense why people are worried about not enough teachers to be able to teach every small class. And then there's another quote from someone, I didn't write their name down, but he said, "Would you rather have a bad teacher in a small class or a good teacher in a big class?" Which can kind of contribute to the having a not having enough teachers, which is they have to, if they get more teachers, they have to use ones that maybe not be as qualified and as good as their job as some of the other teachers, like teachers or professors from a lecture class, and they just have a teacher that maybe just graduated college and hasn't had enough learning experience themselves, and they have to teach a small class by themselves trying to figure out what they're doing, and it could be hard. So my conclusion is small classes are better. I think so, and a lot of teachers think so, and a lot of people have already started implementing it. So other people should too.